I want to talk about something that all of us have had to deal with in the course of our lives. I want to talk about what to do when we get those painful and uncomfortable feelings that come up for us. I call them negative feelings, negative emotions. They're painful. Those feelings of being less than, those feelings of not being good enough, those fears of rejection, those fears of failure that can sit in the pit of our stomach. Our brain has a very heavy bias towards our negative thinking and our negative thoughts. Recent studies show that up to 2/3 of some of our brain focuses exclusively on our negative feelings and emotions. It comes from the way that our primitive brain developed. As our primitive brain was developing, we had to be focused on survival, and so we were focused on finding shelter. We were focused on finding firewood so that we could survive for the night. We were focused on avoiding predators so that we could live another day. So our brain was on constant alert, constant fear, constant worry so that we could survive. Well, there's no saber-toothed tigers here in Westlake Village today. That part of our brain doesn't serve us well, but it has adapted by focusing on our insecurities and our fears as a way to elevate that same level of concern in our bodies. And so when those feelings come up, they can sit with us and they can actually take on a life of their own. They feed on themselves and they take us down a negative loop where we continue to think less and less of ourselves. I'll give you some examples. I'll start with a simple example. I wake up on Monday morning, I hit the scale, and I see that I've gained some weight. I know on Sunday that I didn't eat well. I cheated on my diet. I had a big dessert on Sunday night. I had an extra helping of ice cream. I'm paying the price by seeing it on Monday morning. Immediately, I'm filled with guilt and shame over the way I ate on Sunday, despite my decision to eat better. I feel ashamed and guilty of the fact that I've gained weight instead of lost weight, and I'm now in a spot where I have a choice. I could either give up. I already cheated on Sunday. I already gained weight. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to have, cookies and cream ice cream. I'm going to have a bowl of cereal with whole milk, a bagel and cream cheese, and a cinnamon roll. And I'm going to go off to work feeling worse than I felt when I first stepped on the scale, because once again, I've used an unhealthy behavior to deal with those uncomfortable feelings. My solution for coping with those uncomfortable feelings is to take a healthy action consistent with a healthy goal that I have in my life. So all I have to do, and I know it sounds simple, but all I have to do is eat a healthy breakfast on Monday morning. Go downstairs and have a piece of toast, some fruit, and 2 hard-boiled eggs, and go to work. I've changed the nature of that uncomfortable feeling by taking a healthy action and changing the way that I feel about myself. I feel better knowing that I ate a healthy breakfast. What matters is what I do next. I got to where I am this morning because of what I did yesterday, and where I am now is just taking the next right action to make myself develop some healthy self-esteem and some healthy self-worth. And you can fall into any trap. This could be a student who turns in a paper, gets a grade that's less than he wanted. It could be an athlete who makes a mistake in a game. Either he turns the ball over in the last second of the game, or he fumbles the ball on a key possession, the other team recovers it. You could be in a relationship and your girlfriend or your boyfriend decides that they no longer want to stay together, and you can have those feelings of rejection and being alone. Or even a professional who turns in a report to its boss and it comes back marked up with some mistakes. We immediately, our minds can go to that catastrophic thinking, that negative thinking of being less than, of not measuring up. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to get cut from the team. I'm going to lose my starting position. I'm going to fail this class. What I'm suggesting is that when those feelings come up, what matters is what we do next. So what we can do about that is, first, I don't want to deny that the event has happened. So I want to acknowledge that I didn't get a good grade. I want to acknowledge that I made a mistake in a game. I want to acknowledge that I no longer have the relationship that I used to be in. But I don't want to give it much more value than just acknowledging the fact that it happened. But then what I want to do is what I call ABC. It's called action-based coping. So instead of going and picking up a drink or a drug, instead of going and playing video games all night, instead of getting on my phone and scrolling through Facebook, when those things happen, I want to develop healthy habits to deal with those uncomfortable feelings. All I need to do is go study for that next test. All I need to do is go to practice the next day and work on my ball handling or work on my ball control. All I have to do the next day is realize that I am lovable and that I am worthy and that I am capable, and that ultimately I'll find the right person to be with, and that this does not mean the end of my life. All I have to do is go back to work the next morning and focus on correcting that report and turning it in again. Because when I find healthy behaviors to deal with uncomfortable feelings, I'm actually improving the way I feel about myself. So instead of falling into the trap of guilty and shame-based behaviors that are unhealthy for me, that can trap me, I turn to healthy behaviors. In recovery, we have lots of tools to deal with uncomfortable behaviors. In recovery, as a substance abuser and an alcoholic, I have support group meetings that I can go to. I have a sponsor that I can call. I have a relationship with a power greater than myself that I can tap into. I have relationships with other people in recovery that I can rely on and get vulnerable with and tell them about how I'm feeling. When I do those things, instead of staying isolated, instead of contributing to those negative feelings by taking another negative action, I'm getting healthier. I see myself differently. I build a healthy self-esteem, and I'm building healthy habits. See, we do things in pattern because we get a payoff. So when I'm doing healthy things in pattern, I'm telling my mind that despite making a mistake, despite any setback, that I have healthy behaviors that I can use to deal with uncomfortable feelings that allows myself to grow emotionally, spiritually, and professionally. It's a much better choice, and it's a much healthier way to live. Thanks.